This webBook focuses on the University of Cincinnati in relation to ICE, but in particular commercializing UC IP. There's a UC Accelerator program out there that is already in play. What I want to talk about right now is a possible example of commercializing UCIP in the concept of this webBook Plus. Now, webBook Plus, what you're looking at is a webBook, and I've used techniques that I've developed to create that. But webBook Plus is just a placeholder app for a new app being developed, as well as the deliverables produced by that app. So webBook Plus refers to both the app and the deliverables. But what I'm thinking about here is the concept of a service component for webBook Plus that produces deliverables for customers. The customers provide feedback to the service component, saying, hey, this is what works, this is what doesn't. And in some cases, the service component discovers that the product really needs some changes in order to be more effective. So they provide feedback to the product component. The product component then provides enhancements for the service component that ultimately impact the deliverables to customers. Well, what would the service component, what might that look like? So this would happen in parallel with the development component, validating, providing feedback for the development. And there are a number of different things that we've identified that are out there. Certainly creating and maintaining this webbook. So these are things that we can actually get started using the proof of concept prototype that I've developed. So creating the ICE Epicenter webbook, working with CBTS to create and maintain an internet safety for youth and parents webbook, working with Jay Kim and Tom Dalzell and students to create a webbook for what is called the Engineering Innovation track in the undergraduate curriculum, working with Virginia Westheider and Arthur Allen to create a webbook for ABET, the College of Engineering ABET process, an internal thing. And then seeking to work with GE and P&G to create webbooks for the purpose of capturing knowledge of retiring personnel. So there are many other things that we could use to do that, but this is just the idea of what could this service component look like, again, starting with a proof of concept prototype. What might the product component look like? How might that evolve? And this really says, particularly in the UC context, collaborating with DAP, CEAS, IT, UCIT, and LCB to create or to further develop the Legium webbook methodologies and to create a new app called webBook Plus. It could be used to focus on e-learning, which is one of the things that President Ono has identified, but also used for education and business settings, general education, and thereby the whole idea is to create valuable UC intellectual property and collaborative intellectual property. The link out here takes you to the Legium webbook stuff, which is the proof of concept prototype. Where might we go from that? Could certainly take the product as is to a commercialized state. Look at the product as is as a start point and re-implement it using up-to-date technologies. Creating a completely new product using the principles used to create the original webbook prototype, and also creating an open source app that people could contribute to and use. So those are some of the product path possibilities that I see, and there are probably others. Now, as far as how one might fund this, it would be interesting to explore the CMAP development model. CMAP is an application that implements concept maps. This was done. It's done at as a collaboration of many universities in Florida. And the question is, could we do something similar with Cincinnati Region universities or perhaps Ohio universities? So that would be a concept of how we might fund the product development that we're talking about here. So that's my current cut at a particular implementation or incarnation of creating or commercializing IP at UC.